Math 83, Unit 2, Lesson 1. We're going to identify the coordinates as well as plot points on a coordinate plane. And this grid right here is a coordinate plane. So the first thing we need to be able to do here is to label some important parts of this plane. And first is the x-axis here. So the x-axis is this horizontal axis. The y-axis is this vertical axis. The origin is right here in the center, and that's the point 0, 0. That's where the origin is. And to label the quadrants, this part of the graph right here where both x and y are positive is called the first quadrant. This one here to the left where x is negative and y is positive is called the second quadrant. This down here where x is negative and y is negative is called your third quadrant. And this one here to the right, the bottom right, is where x is positive and y is negative, and that is your fourth quadrant. Now the first thing we need to be able to do is to be able to give the coordinates of each of these points. Now A is right up here, and whenever we name a coordinate point, it's always going to be the x first and then the y. And we put a comma in between them and we put them in parentheses. So to find the coordinate of A, we start here from the origin and we had to go over to the right 4 places. So my x is 4, and then I had to go up 3 places to get up to this point A. So positive 3 is my y coordinate. So 4, 3. B is over here in the third quadrant. We had to go over to the left 4, so that's a negative 4. And then down 3 to get here to B. So because we had to go down 3, that's a negative 3. C is up here in the second quadrant. We had to go to the left 1 and then up 2 to get there. So that's going to have the coordinate point of negative 1, 2. D is in the fourth quadrant. We had to go over 5 and then down 1 to get there. So that is going to be the point 5, negative 1. E is sitting right here on the y-axis. We don't go over at all, so my x is 0, but we had to come down 3 to get there. So it's 0, negative 3. And then F is sitting right here on the x-axis. We had to go to the left 4 to get there, and we didn't go up or down at all. So the left 4 is negative 4. We don't go up or down, so that is 0. So F has the coordinate point of negative 4, 0. Now in number 2, you need to plot the following points on the coordinate graph. I'd like you to do this on your own, press pause on the video, and then come back and check your answer. So here are the answers to number 2. All the points are plotted where they belong. Take a few moments to check your answers. Now, the slope of a line is always your rise over your run. And we use the variable m for the slope. Now, what is the rise over run? We're going to see that in a few minutes when I give you some examples on a graph. But what the rise is a change in y values over the change in x values. And we can use a formula whenever we find the slope, and that would be our y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And we're going to be applying all of this in just a few minutes. So for the moment, just take these notes. So here we want to determine whether a line has positive, negative, zero or undefined slope, and we also want to be able to determine the slope of a line. So if a slope is positive, it's always going to slant upwards from left to right, and here we want to just draw a line that's going to have positive slope. So if I just draw a line that looks like this, going up left to right, I'm going to write slants upward left to right, it's going to have positive slope. Now a line that has negative slope is going to come down left to right, like here. So this one is going to slant downward left to right. And you always read a graph left to right. Now, what does it mean to have undefined slope? Well, any vertical line, kind of hard to draw, sorry, any type of vertical line is going to have undefined slope. And our horizontal lines are going to have zero slope. So when I see a horizontal line, I will say it has zero slope. In number 4, we want to graph the line that passes through the points 3, 2, and 0, negative 4. So first, to plot the point 3, 2, I'm going to go to the right 3 and up 2, and I'll plot that point. And then 0, negative 4 is on the y-axis. So I don't go over left or right at all, and I just come down 4 units. Now I'm going to take my straight edge and connect those 2 points. Now, just by looking at this line, it's going up left to right, so I can tell it's going to have positive slope. So I know my answer for the slope of this line is going to have to be a positive number. Now, we said earlier that our slope was our rise over our run. So I'm going to start with the point that's furthest to the left down here, the 0, negative 4, and I'm going to see what my rise and my run is to get to the second point. So I had to go up 6 units, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units, and then to the right 3 units to get to the second point. Anytime you go up, it's positive, and anytime you go to the right, it's positive. So our rise was 6, and our run was 3, and that simplifies to be 2. So our slope of this line, which we use the variable m, is going to be 2. In number 5, we need to plot the points 0, negative 5, and 0, negative 1. Both of those points are on the y-axis. 0, negative 5 and 0, negative 1 are plotted right here. And you want to go ahead and connect those points with your straight edge. Now that I've connected those points, I can see that this is a vertical line, and all vertical lines have an undefined slope. Therefore, my slope here is undefined. In number 6, we're going to plot the points 4, 0 and negative 2, 0. Both of those are on the x-axis. So 4, 0 would be right over here where I go to the right 4 and don't go up or down at all. And then negative 2, 0 would be right here. Now take your straight edge and connect those points. There I've connected the points, and I can see that this is a horizontal line, and all horizontal lines have a slope that is 0. So our slope here is going to be 0. In number 7, we're going to plot the points negative 3, 2 and negative 1, negative 1. So I'm going to go to the left 3 and up 2, and then to the left 1 and down 1. Now take your straight edge and connect those points. Now that I've connected those points and I look at the line, I can see that it's coming downwards left to right. that type of line is going to have negative slope. So I know that my answer is going to be negative. So I take the furthest point to the left, which is right up here, and to go to the second point, I had to come down this time. So I had to come down 3 units and then go to the right 2 units to get to the second point. So if our slope, again, is our rise over our run, we had to come down, therefore it's a negative number, a negative 3, and then I had to go across to the right 2 units. So our slope is going to be a negative 3 over 2. So in number 8, we need to find the slope of a given line. So I can tell by the way it's slanting that this slope is going to be negative. I can just tell by looking at it. So as I go from one point to the next, I have to come down from 0, 3. I had to come down 3 units, so that's going to be a negative 3. And then I had to go run across to the right 6 units. So our rise, which means I had to come down 3 over our run, positive 6, and I can simplify that to be negative 1/2. So our slope is going to be negative 1/2. And number 9, we can see that the line goes up left to right. So I know my answer is going to have to be positive because that line has positive slope. I take my left point here and I know I have to go up 3 units and then to the right 3 units to get to the second point. So my rise was 3 and my run was also 3, and 3 over 3 simplifies to be 1. So my slope is 1. In number 10, I can look at this line and see that it's a vertical line, and all vertical lines have undefined slope. So my slope is going to be undefined. In number 11, I see that I have a horizontal line, and all horizontal lines have a slope of 0, so my slope is 0. Number 12, the graph shows the relationship between the number of miles driven by a car and the time it took to drive them. And first we need to find the slope and then interpret the meaning of the slope in this situation. Well, just like the other lines we worked with before, to find the slope we need to do the rise over run. So I'm going to start with this point here to the left, the 0, 0, and to go to the second point I had to go up 100, and because my units on my vertical axis are miles, I went up 100 miles over my run, which means I'm going to go here to the right to get to the other point, 2, and then the horizontal axis is hours, so 2 hours. So this reduces or simplifies to be 50 miles per hour. So what is the meaning of the slope in this situation? It means that this car is driving at a constant speed of 50 miles per hour on this trip. 50 miles per hour. A car is purchased new for $20,000 and depreciates in value every year. Depreciates means it loses value. And we can see from our graph here that this line is going to have negative slope because it comes down left to right. So to find the slope, we'll start with this point that's furthest to the left, which is 0, 20,000. And we had to come down 10,000. Our units here are dollars, so we had to come down, that's a negative number, $10,000, and then we go across, our run is 10, and our units are years for the horizontal axis. So it's going to depreciate or come down in value $10,000 every 10 years. Now that simplifies to be a negative $1,000 every year. Now we want to interpret the meaning of the slope for this situation. Well, we have a negative $1,000 every year. So that means that this car is going to depreciate, which means loses value. It depreciates in value $1,000 every year.